So this review is in regards to the flip phones and the boneless conduction headset. First, talking about the flip phone. So as of January of 2021, what happens is that all the carriers are killing off 3G, meaning if you had a cell phone from back in the 90s, a phone that you liked and everything, BlackBerry or whatever, it's garbage because only 4G and up will work. So what happens is that work basically provided this phone for me and everything. At first, it's like, ooh, it's a brand new phone. It should have new technology and everything. But nope. It's basically pretty much like the 1980s phones and everything. Nothing special. The only thing is that this phone actually can go on the internet. But the thing about it is that you know how current phones, when you're connected to the internet, actually helps improve reception on the phone. This phone does not do that. So what happens is that if you connect to the internet, the only or you connect to a Wi-Fi network, the only thing that you'll be able to do is basically be able to search the internet with the dial pad. So imagine trying to type something on the dial pad doing the internet. So pretty much impossible and everything. Even typing the password for the Wi-Fi is difficult. Not to mention anything else. So like I said, these new 4G flip phones are basically pretty much the same thing as before. The battery is identical and everything. It's just a cover that you pop off and there's a small little battery that's removable. But the main reason that I'm doing the review is these. So what happens was that bone conduction headsets. That's what this was and everything. So what happens was that it sounded great. Bone conduction, that way I could still hear everything that's happening around me. I mean that's the whole thing about bone conduction. You can still hear everything and both the what's on the headset and the noise around you, which is a safety especially around now. So I got two pairs. This one's still in the box and everything. You can still hear the rattling and everything. And this is the one I'm using. So what happens is that there's a power button right here. I'm not sure if you could kind of see it when I basically tilted the angle. And the charging port is a micro USB right here on the bottom of the base. So what happens is I tried it out and everything. It's really not bone conduction. Bone conduction, you shouldn't be able to hear any sound if it's not on you. If I basically put it here and turn it on, if I can actually play with loud enough music, you could kind of still hear a faint sound from this. So all this is basically just a tiny little speaker on that sits on top of the ear and basically sits on top of the ear and you can kind of hear the sound because the speaker is so close to your ear that you should be able to hear it. And that's all it is. You still can, if you're close enough to the person, you can still hear what's on the headset and everything. And then another big problem is that when you turn it on, everything's in Mandarin. So when you power on, basically has the power on voice in Mandarin. When you turn it off, it's basically Mandarin saying that it's turning off. When you're trying to pair, it basically tells you it's in pairing mode in Mandarin. Everything's in Mandarin. Not to mention battery life. These basically are horrible. It won't even last a day. I tried basically using it on a road trip, a short little road trip actually, less than 2 hours away, and it died within an hour. And this is an hour without even being used on standby mode. So imagine if I was basically trying to do a conversation or listen to something on it, it wouldn't even last an hour or 30 minutes on that.